guys? It's your boy Simon Says. I'm here in the Crypto Cobras, and right now we're just on our YouTube page, and we're just going over some of our analysts or analysis over the prior week, right? Here we see alts will die, right, if Bitcoin does not hold the line. So today's gonna be a little bit more geared towards alts, and just like how we were looking for that bounce yesterday, right? When something happens in the market and you actually do only see downside, right? You don't see that balance of longs and shorts in the market. When they squeeze enough longs, liquidate enough longs, that kind of relief rally does come. And we've seen that relief rally come with about I forget the numbers. Let's see. Should be in the announcements or the Twitter. But it was about, I would say we had a 25% dump and about a 7% pump from the bottom. It's not there. We could, go over it on the charts in a second. But just looking at, our YouTube, alts will die, right? We're looking at ETH to Bitcoin. We're looking at total market cap. We're looking at pretty much, Bitcoin holding the support. They held the support for a little bit. Alts were able to, recover, escaping the falling wedge. We had that pump right before we capitulated pretty much, right? Fake out incoming question mark. Bitcoin, bullish fake out confirmed. And over the weekend, the dip, commenced. People think maybe, over the weekend, because, the institutional markets aren't open and all this. No, we don't have to clear that CME gap right away as the market opens. We followed up a strong Monday with more downside from institutions. So crypto doesn't sleep, crypto isn't closed. And we have to be aware of where we are. So we pretty much just had a bounce. Let's get into the charts. And boy, we have a doozy. Let's delete everything so we can see where we're coming up with our bias from, right? Trying out some new things. Let's start with it on the 4-hour chart. All right, we know we had the low when we flipped, our 4-hour candle low support around that 33K region. After we flipped it, we started playing in a new region, 33K to the daily candle low, which is 28K. So let's actually go back even. Let's go to the weekly first. All this just to see that wick, man, So notice like the weekly has already tested this low, already tested our 28K July body. And look at where the price action is, this little dotted line going across. We're sitting right below their open. So well, this is actually the weekly low, right? So this is the lowest point we've been on the weekly. If we see the daily low closes are down here. So we can see that pretty much we've had that downside test already, testing the support. That's what we were looking for yesterday. Came in nice and strong. If we were looking at another weekly kind of trigger, we kind of see the tightest kind of resistance line. We'll just be, using that last top from the 48s. Our last high was at that 60. Our last candle close was at 65,400, and then our last lowest weekly close was 31,467. And so we know once we tap the door, right? Once we knock on supports, in this case, triple bottom kind of wicks, kind of held right the head. Left shoulder, right shoulder, kind of like held this support up. Here, when we had to bounce to 48, we kind of see how we had the downside test to even test, the bottom of these wicks. Now we're testing, this area as a resistance. We're still below this weekly close, so this is, still a resistance area as we've been, bearish. weekly was at the 40 RSI periodically before this new weekly candle opened, but it kind of smashed through the weekly. We didn't really see. I wanted to kind of see a divergence, kind of hold from this 40 low. That didn't happen. What we do see is, this divergence, right? Kind of see like from this last low in July. Fun fact, like if I would have just bought, if everyone would have bought me Bitcoin on my birthday, it would have been, the best time to buy Bitcoin all time high, or Ethereum. I would have pretty much 2x. And think about how quickly you 2x in this crypto market. From July to November, it's about 5 months. So think about these cycles. Then you have another cycle from November to January, another 2 months, extreme downside, test the lows, bullish cycle from January to March. So another two month cycle. So March to, let's see, March to May, maybe be our last month of downside. We're able to flip a trend. It's been 2 months. You can see that when we have a stronger trend breakout, we have a stronger trend reversal. When we have a smaller trend breakout, this is still a weekly trend. When we have a smaller trend uptrend, maybe we see a smaller reversal, right? Maybe we have to have another, form another lower high and then continue down, or, so nothing goes straight down. We just tested the support on the weekly. And that's just kind of how we gotta, see our trends. You gotta see your trends on every time frame. As you go down on the time frames, the trends switch much more rapidly. So Bitcoin is the king, right? Pretty much Bitcoin is the king of the market. Why we say that is because before, everything, Bitcoin was the only pretty much coin in the crypto space. ETH, made a strong second and has been, a strong project. So now that's kind of official, but we know Bitcoin is the king just because there's no governance. Like Satoshi Nakamoto, he supposedly relinquished the keys, or whatever. He's not a public figure, and it's just anonymous. This is like an anonymous DeFi pretty much. So on the daily, we see why we have our low. We see how we pretty much just wicked that low. Oh my gosh, perfectly. Just set your buy limits. This is where you set your buy limits on like strong support areas, really candle bodies and stuff. That's where you want to look for your buys. This is where you kind of want to look for your sells right now, right? So look at the second daily low. Why is this one here? Look at how we were holding a support. The daily lows, we're holding a support from up here. We could even move a little bit up. This is like my second point of interest, or we could use the wicks, how it was. Just gonna leave it there. I like how you see on this area, it was about 4 days we were holding above this area before we finally dropped below. So this is a strong resistance on a daily. We see this is our previous daily low when we're coming in this area. We see once we swept that low, we see these wicks in this area are kind of holding up. Let me delete these two real quick. You see in this area, since we're holding this daily low at first, we have that resistance, right, or that support. Once we finally flipped that low, which was this day, we didn't even retest it. We just, continued down this wick from the top side of yesterday, barely anything, using this wick as a resistance. And yeah, we had the dump, and then look at this pump. Let's go through the percentages of the pump. One more thing I want to note. Notice this isn't the daily low anymore, but if we clean it up, we can move this one up. So knowing like your weeklies and your dailies are pretty important, and tying them in on lower time frames. So that's now our weekly candle low. well, not even low, that's our last high. So it's pretty important. Right now, trying to hold this daily high as daily low as a support. So let's go into like a deeper time frame. See how once we broke that weekly, oh, there's resistance and just downwards. Little symmetrical triangle here on a lower time frame. Once we flip that, straight down. So from the top to the bottom, let's see. So about 24.5% down. And then we have, with the wick touch here, we have about a 9% move up. And now we have consolidation, right? We're starting to form like our top side and our bottom. Let's go down to a lower time frame so we see some more areas of support. Red is going to be kind of the area we want to like look for our buys, and then blue is kind of going to be the area we want to look for our sells. I'm sorry, that's so wrong. Red is going to be the area we look for our sells, and then blue is going to be the area we look for our buys, right? We literally don't want to, well, in my trading plan anyways, I don't want to buy the breakout, right? So if we remove this trend line and we kind of look here, like I wouldn't want to, when it breaks this trend line, I wouldn't want to place a buy. You can see a lot of time if we would have did that, it would be rejected already, right? So this is the area I want to sell at, as well as, you know, every time it kind of tested this blue line, came below it, it was a strong buy. Hasn't really tested here yet. And this is the middle of our channel, so I wouldn't really place a buy. I did call a sell at 31.75. I put my stop loss to entry a little early, and then this wick kind of came and took me out, right? So it came right back to my entry on this top of this last wick, but now we see a doji coming in. Now we're testing this daily second low. We're also, you know, sniped this from earlier. We kind of peeped that we had the left shoulder at the head, and then this is, you know, we were down here, kind of had some bullish action. If we go way back, you also see earlier how we kind of like, this was a little bit tighter than that. Probably something like that. We broke this wedge, and then, you know, we tested just the supports of this area. So we could have another little zone right here. The last sell before the buy. So, you know, it's pinching even more. It's a 45 minute. Let's see the 2 hour. You see how we only like we broke down out of this kind of like channel, like this was, let's see how long, you know, It was a 2-hour candle down, probably ended strong. As you know, there was no real wick to the downside, so it probably carried into this next candle, came down, hit the daily low, and then bounced, right? And that was just to play off the last candle body. So even on the 30-minute, we're seeing that it came down and actually bounced for 30 minutes, came down, rejected, doji, then engulfed. So that's why I'm not including it in this trend line. As you see on the 30 minutes, this is a very strong trend line. If we were to slip here, we would most definitely almost test this order block. Now, is this going to be an order block or a breaker block, right? And that's the question. There's two different types of order block. Like in this case, this was, a price where order came, where like the orders came and it filled and it held as a support. It bounced off, but now as it's turned into a breaker block, we're gonna, maybe hit here, have a little bit of reaction, and then ultimately be held under the second daily low candle close, and then, dip down to this. You see that triple top coming on the hourly, which was, perfect. Doji came in. Unfortunate, I got wicked out, but I'm not too worried. Like, a big part of this game is just like conserving your capital, like protecting your capital, I should say, and actually applying the risk when you see the setup, right? When you see those setups, it's actually vital that you maximize your returns. It's actually in your best interest for you to go high leverage when you see your proper setups, and it's not advised for you to be timid. Like, this is a shark market. Like, if we snipe this sell right here 1%, that's either 10% of your account leverage. Like, we could have had a tight stop. Now your stop loss could have been on entry, removing. If you're like that, that's 1%. So that's either going to be, if you did a 5x, it's like, how much confidence do you have in your trade? Where's your stop loss going to be, right? In this case, there's so much volatility in this market. You see how I had this order block marked out? This is where I'm thinking my stop loss would be. So if I'm taking a 1.4% stop loss, I'm like thinking, okay, now 15% is gonna be about a 22% loss. Let me go a little lower. Maybe I gotta go 10x. Now a 10% loss, a 10 times leverage. Let's say I go 10 times leverage. A 10 times leverage would be, 15% loss. If that's too much for you and you're not willing to take that risk, you don't risk it. You got to risk it for the biscuit. If you're not willing to take that risk, use less of your account margin. So let's say if you use 50% of your account margin and you take, let's say you took that same 10% and you're risking 15, you're only risking 7% on this trade now. Now that 7%, if we're testing these lows down here with the volatility in the market, that's almost a 5%, almost a 6% move. So that would be, maybe a 1 to 4 RR. But that's where we are right now. Let's get into some alts. This is where we are on Bitcoin. We had that horizontal region that we're watching again, right? So if we dip below like kind of this area, we could maybe look for some longs. This order block too. But yo, what a great time in Bitcoin. I want to see that fair, the total market cap. Another thing I wanted to point out, baby pips, right? So I was looking at baby pips. I'm actually gonna like kind of use this kind of just to monitor some of the pivot points. This is just like showing some of the different pivot points. I just thought it was kind of cool and wanted to bring it to your attention. There's so much information out there. We can't be limited. Like, you have to go out there and find it. So now let's get into these alts. Hold up. We can't look at Luna yet. Oh my gosh. We gotta follow the money, right? So in a bull market, it's good to invest and hold into these altcoins, or maybe get a nice little leverage long and watch it go and run, hype. We gotta get that same reverse hype. And look at how that beautiful head and shoulders right here on the RSI. We gotta start finding those, right? Gotta start finding these. We gotta use that same reverse hype with the news and the FUD and the bear market news, because in this market, bro, only the real are gonna survive, right? Only the Google, the Facebook, not the MySpace. The MySpace isn't gonna survive, right? We gotta find those coins, these currencies that are leading the innovation in the market. And this is the time they're also born, right? This is the time where, this is the time where Tether has 83 billion sitting on the sidelines waiting to go. This is a time where, I think I saw yesterday, it was like the market cap has, dipped by 10%, 10 trillion, well, not 10 trillion, but it's dipped 10%. So this is like a big time, A lot of good coins are on discount, like a lot of them, bro. Look at Dot. Dot's at $11. Crazy, right? This coin was once at $50. So just off rip, it's pretty much, let's see, 80% down. I was gonna say that. But yeah, so from 50 to 80%, some people from the Polka auction, they're not even worried. They locked their dot up for 2 years, right? So people are literally still have their dot staked, made money on their dot. Now, the bear market comes, cool, I got another year. So this is also, a good time to maybe look into what's going on with dot. Let's since the parachain auction, dot hasn't been one of the stronger altcoins, I'll be honest, but I do feel like it could still have a strong comeback. So this is just me shilling dot a little bit as we wrap it up. I really want to get into just some of these alts and ETH to Bitcoin dominance. Let's check out ETH to Bitcoin dominance real quick. Wow, broke out of the descending triangle and bust right back through support, right to this order block. Extend the zone. Let's see where that zone's coming from. Oh Lord, are the alts not done? Is ETH not done? Has ETH not bled to Bitcoin yet? Yeah. Notice the divergence on the price action. Could add in this left shoulder, but it's not. For this to be a left shoulder, I'd like it to be up here somewhere. This is more just like a double top divergence. Strong bounce off that symmetrical triangle too. So alts did have a nice bounce, but there's still blood in the water. I don't know, still murky waters. Main symmetrical triangle where we don't want to break. If we break this could be ultimately like a double breakout, fake out. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what to call it. This is like, you can see how we haven't been able to clear above this high, or this high, above this high. So that's, ETH to Bitcoin. Let's see how this range wants to play. We see it's kind of ranged off now as it's rejecting hard. Let me see quick. And this is the moment you want to be putting in your shorts on the altcoins, right? Because if Ethereum is bleeding to Bitcoin and money's probably hedging into Bitcoin being at 30K, right? Like at this point you're like, all right, I'll sell my ETH and I'll just ride the Bitcoin wave first, because you have to realize when the pump comes again, Bitcoin's gonna pump, Then you're gonna have altcoin season. Then you're gonna have shitcoin season. Then Bitcoin's gonna cool off. You know, the alts are gonna dip harder than Bitcoin is. Bitcoin's gonna hold up more. And it's kind of like, it's the same thing in reverse. So it goes Bitcoin, alt season, the high caps, then you get your low caps. So that's that. Now let's just take a look at Luna. And when you have so much volume or news, like when the market is in such fear, this is when the whales come in and they start playing with your emotions on these low cap coins. So if we're looking from, let's go take it to the daily real quick. Oh shit. Okay. See this 62% move down. Let's even turn on the log. The logarithm scale is pretty much making it so you're seeing the market cap relative, not the price, right? So you're gonna see the 2x's is even, like we see from 16 to 32 is gonna be the same on the, it's the same price scale. Look at how it's different, right? Like 16. Anyways, we're just using the log to show the multiples. So pretty much this is shed, you know, from $64 yesterday to 23 being, you know, the low of that wick, over 63%. Realize you could leverage short this. Right? So let's go into like a lower time frame, 2-hour time frame. Let's see if we had any indicators besides, you know, Bitcoin being the king and Bitcoin shorting, and then you have the UST losing its peg, right? It hit almost 69 cents. So $1 really equals 69 cents in crypto, right? Look at Luna short again to that 2-hour $25 mark, testing its lows, can't get oversold. These alts are where we're making our boohoo bucks, bro. We're only gonna risk maybe 10-20% of our account, 30 max. And really, if you know, you're able to catch this short from 60 to even 30, right? 3 hours, hold that shit. Don't 50% on even let's say you got a 20 leverage or, you know, 10 times leverage, and you when that fundamentals add up, when Bitcoin adds up and is dumping, and you have the right altcoin that has the hype in the FUD, you put that short. You risk it for the biscuit, bro. I've seen that shit happen with my own eyes. Like Chapo did that shit, and this is how we capitalize. This is the things we were talking about earlier when, you know, we were saying alts will die if Bitcoin doesn't hold the line. Think about it. Like, yes, Luna is down, but there's somebody that has Luna at $1. So Luna is still 25x. And these are the things we have to think about when we're, you know, diving into this crypto market. Look at this support coming up here. Looks almost perfect. Let's just draw a nice little zone and have, you know, multiple charts and different outlooks. We're able to see how this market develops. Take paper trades in your head. And this is, you know, episode 21. Let's go, guys. We out.